Hello, welcome to Local SEO Today. I'm Roger Murphy.
And I'm John Vong.
We want to welcome our listeners today. We've got a great topic we want to talk about. It's very current. And John, we've been talking about the pandemic. We've all been living it all around the world for almost a year. So this is really to talk to business owners and entrepreneurs about the fatigue, the pandemic, and what it's done to us, and maybe some thoughts about how to get through it.
Yeah, definitely. It's been already a year, and I know a lot of people has been impacted in one way or another. Let it be personal. They might know of people that have had, COVID, as well as people that overcame it. Some that hasn't. Some that businesses in particular that has been impacted heavily, especially if you're bricks and mortar storefront, very localized. You don't know if there's gonna still be that demand when things open up again. So we're gonna talk about the entire fatigue of how to overcome it, really, on this episode.
Yeah. One of the numbers we saw recently, John, is and I believe it all over North America and is probably beyond, but 75% of employees, when interviewed and surveyed, are reporting this fatigue, this burnout, because everyone's lives, I know the way we work has changed. Everyone has had to alter how they do their business, and it's taken a toll. And I'm glad people are actually talking about it, because it's not dollars and cents. We're all human beings, and we're all living through this and handling it in different ways.
Yeah, and there's going to be definitely mental tools, physical tools, health tools. Like if you think about all dimensions of your life, from if you do have children, how have you adapted to children that used to go to school? Now it's homeschooling. Now it's Zoom calls. And then if you used to go to the gym or have physical activities, you can't even do that in certain aspects of, if you live in Canada or US, because nothing's open, like gyms aren't open. And the sports activities and hobbies that you were accustomed to doing on a weekly, monthly basis has been shut. That social interaction with family and friends, even, where you used to connect with them on a regular basis, now it's over Zoom calls or Skype or video phone calls. It's different. So definitely it's impacted everyone.
Yeah. And the social aspect, because we are social animals. Even if you are maybe an introvert, you still want to get out and be in the middle of people. And whether you're at your local coffee shop having a coffee and, sitting on your laptop or reading a book, whatever it is, we're not able to do that. So yeah, there's lots of examples. And I think we've got some really interesting things to talk about here in terms of overcoming this pandemic fatigue.
Yeah, and you're not alone. So one thing I do want to let every listener know is there are a lot of people going through the exact same situation, moments, and life events as you are. And we are all in this together because it's new to everyone. We've never gone through a pandemic in our lifetime, and hopefully we don't have to at the end of our lifetime either. So
that's right. And right now we're going to start talking about realistic optimism. But the word right now is that vaccines are on their way. There's good efficacy. It's finally happening. But this idea, John, of realistic optimism.
Yeah, like the first thing is, yes, there is a vaccine. Yes, it's been a year. It's the first time a vaccine has been deployed this quickly, this rapidly, because we've never endured a global pandemic that has altered everyone's life situation. So yes, there is hope. Yes, we are hopeful that things get back to normal. People want to move, spend, and get together again. And that means if you're a business or you're an employee at a job or a company, things will slowly get back to normal, right? Like you will be able to see people again. You will be able to go into the office or go for coffee soon. But don't forget, like there is still the COVID is still around, right? So you still need to practice safe precautions. You still need to wear the mask. You still need to wash your hands, social distance, and all that other stuff.
Yeah. And as a leader, if you're a business owner, to this idea of realistic optimism, I like the idea of even just being empathetic and as you say, John, everyone's in it together. We all are. But as a leader, you want your employees to feel and know that they're not alone, and that we're all getting through this, and we are all gonna get through this together.
Exactly, and lead by example, right? So I know it's hard, even on yourself. Maybe you are in a very difficult situation as well, right? Like working now at home, your business has been impacted in terms of not just demand and revenue and supply and all that other stuff, but are you going to be around for much longer if things don't open up? It's hard, right? But you have to be optimistic. You need to really let your employees know that things will get back to normal. Things will be better. We've gone through really tough times, but once the vaccine's out, once people start moving again, people are just pent up. Like there is a demand that's waiting to explode because there's people that have stayed more than ever before, and people haven't traveled for a year. And if you look at your mileage in your car, I'm lucky to have traveled over 1,000 kilometers or 2,000 kilometers in a year. Like my whole world revolved around 2 kilometer radius of grocery shopping, right? Because I had to follow the rules and regulations from what the government has mandated. So imagine that, where you're used to traveling 10, 15,000 kilometers a year. Now, it's all pent up.
So that there's that's happening, and the idea of being a leader too, as well, John. Listening to your team members. Something we do in our company is we have a bit of a roundtable every week, and if you're a business owner, it's something to consider if you haven't done it before, but to really reach out and ask questions and ask your employees. Open up even about yourself, how you're handling it, and ask them how because people do want to just express their feelings. So that'll help them get through this as well.
Exactly. So definitely that's number 2, like listen to not just your staff, but your clients as well. Letting them understand that, just be vulnerable, let them in on your life situation, how you're handling it mentally, as well as, physically, and what changes you've made, and maybe that will allow for people to collaborate, right? Open up to their situation, and so you can actually empathize and provide some feedback, input, and suggestions on how we can all be better, right? Like happier together, because people want support more than ever, and you don't know what kind of support they currently have in their personal life. So if you can just add that layer of dimensional value in their lives, it will mean a huge thing for them.
Excellent. And the third topic or point we wanted to make, of course, was focusing on this connection and well-being, and maybe it is this idea of mentally taking care of themselves. And if you feel energy drain, what are the sources of it, and how to take care of that. Taking breaks, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of online video that's been happening, especially for people that aren't used to this, right? From students to now employees and businesses. And therefore, you need to disconnect sometimes. You need to go out for a walk. You need to remember that this is short term and it's new. And don't force yourself to something that you're not comfortable doing. But you have to learn to adapt, right? And address this, right? Like let your employees know as well as yourself that you need to connect, but you need to disconnect as well. And it's a part of this whole well-being aspect.
Something we've always spoken of, John, too, is that because we all are, this is for most people, they're at a desk, or many people are at a desk or in front of a computer, but the idea of stepping out, getting some, like take that, as you say, disconnect, just get some fresh air, get outside, because without realizing it before you know it, how many minutes and hours have gone by and you're sitting and you're tied into this technology. So this idea of helping yourself, but just disconnect and take a little bit of a break during the day.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people who have set up their home office, remote office, did they set it up properly? Do you have an ergonomic chair? Is it a standing desk? Do you have things that allow you to work efficiently, effectively, and healthy as well? And yes, your eyes are going to be sore at the end of the day, right? If you're in front of a computer all day long in Zoom meetings talking. So make sure you're equipped with water. Make sure you are rested well. You're eating well. Move around, right? All these things matter. But it's hard when this is all new for a lot of people. So make sure you take that time to disconnect as well.
I like the one also, then there's another point we want to touch on, which is depending on your type of business, but to talk about wins, small wins or goals that have been achieved, and celebrate them and do that and do it together. And it's almost, it's great for the mental health, and it encourages people. They feel like they're doing a good job.
Exactly. And I think we've done this all our lives in sales, Roger. It's like, don't just celebrate the largest win, right? Or annual wins. You need these smaller celebrations of success, right? Renewal client or new client or a new project that's ongoing, a new staff that's joining us, anything that is fun, right? Share it with the team, embrace it, as well as, on the weekends, if you're able to disconnect completely, do it, right? Get off the computer and, phone or whatever, and just enjoy it in the moment, right? Like just living presently without distractions are so important in today's life.
Yeah. And of course, that's all about, that's the employee side. As an employer, entrepreneur that, you own and you're running the business, getting over this pandemic, we have a time and a moment to really look at the business and evolving the business. And that evolution of the business, what does that mean? Is it to maybe refocus on what your company's purpose is? Is the purpose changing? Certainly we're in a different environment, but it's a time where you can sit back. And I certainly I was contacted many times through the year by business owners when they had that time and they realized, we're going to come out of this thing. I want to now evolve or strategize for the post-pandemic.
Exactly. So the number 4 point is, how do you evolve your business? How do you pivot? How do you ensure that everything's stronger once things are back to normal, or in the next couple months or a couple years, you strengthen your company? You have a better value proposition. Do you have a better core values? Do you take care of your employees even better? Do you have better strategic services product out there? Do you understand and listen to your customers better? Because during this pandemic, you were able to reflect on your business process, your systems, your people, your supply chain, your rental space. There's so many components that you can actually look and delve deep and really analyze to see what has worked and what hasn't. And yes, this is a temporary thing. This pandemic, and hopefully with this vaccine, it will allow everyone to get back to some sort of more normality, right? And maybe it is a hybrid approach as well, that with this pandemic allow you to remove some of your fixed costs, like office space. Maybe it's a hybrid approach with co-sharing spaces. Look at different opportunities, pivot around, because with things that happen like this during this pandemic, businesses are created. Disruption is happening, and people can actually take some time to analyze what's going on. And if you haven't done that for your business, you should start as soon as possible.
That's right. And you'll see what has worked, what you had to evolve. Maybe some things are temporary, John. Maybe some things are permanent. The way people have been consuming products in terms of this online again, if maybe you as a business owner started some sort of delivery service or pickup delivery, whatever it is, but you may have a new type of interaction that's working quite well for your clients.
Teleconferencing, video, people might be very comfortable with not meeting you in person anymore. And you can then open your own entire business to not just service local, it could be global.
That's right. You have to be agile. You have to be flexible. That's what this pandemic has done for all of us. I mean, we can all rhyme off a number of things that we did not do. I can say that Zoom was not on my radar a year ago. If you had said, hey, Roger, what's Zoom all about? I would have gone, what are you talking about? And now it's as normal as anything out there.
Yeah. And then those conferences, those events, how is it going to come back stronger than ever? Are they? So now with this Zoom and meetings online, I mean, with the costs going down for a lot of these businesses, do they want to fork up X amount just to run a conference again?
Exactly. And maybe this is this is our topic in terms of overcoming this pandemic, John. These ideas which have been great, but it is true, and I always like this philosophical saying, which is in every crisis there is opportunity, and this pandemic shifted and made a lot of people have to reevaluate a number of things, but there is opportunity all through this.
Exactly. And just like in business and in life, there's things that you have to overcome, right? There's going to be challenges, and this is just a blip out of your entire lifespan.
Exactly.
And if you're going to be able to come out this stronger than ever, you're going to be happier than ever, because then you're going to reflect on what just went on in the past year and a half.
Exactly.
And you're going to hopefully say, I overcame it. I made some changes, and I'm happier than ever.
There you go. So, and I know this is all about overcoming that pandemic fatigue, but we've touched on a whole number of really important parts, and everyone will know exactly what we're talking about. And I'm sure they appreciate some of the input you've given today too, John. So
thanks a lot, Roger, for this.
Well, thank you for today, and thanks for listening to this podcast. We'll see you again, and we'll talk again at Local SEO Today.
Thank you for listening to our latest podcast. Please subscribe to Local SEO Today